I was in high school. I participated in a program called JROTC, high school program that allowed people to get an experience, students to get an experience of what the military would be like. And I believe because of JROTC, that was the reason I decided to join the Army. I joined the Army January 11th, 2001. Now, mind you, this was months before September 11th actually took place. I got to the point that I was, promoted, and I was NCO of the year, I was Soldier of the Year, I met President Bush and all these other amazing people during my career. However, the highlights has lows as well. And as I was continuing on my career in the Army, I got to the point where the deployments, the day in and day out activities of being in the military were starting to get to me. And get to me not to the sense that I couldn't do what I was being asked, but get to me mentally and emotionally. I was dealing with anxiety. I was dealing with PTSD, especially coming off of deployment after deployment, and my longest deployment was 15 months. I don't imagine anyone would not have any type of side effects when they're deployed, and seeing some of the things that you could see on a deployment, especially following 9/11. And so during that time, the latter part of my career in the Army, I decided to transition out of the military, and that wasn't the easiest experience for me because I was on the verge of being homeless. Being in the military, being Soldier of the Year, NCO of the Year, and being able to reach the rank that I did so quickly, you would imagine that getting out of the Army would be easy, but it wasn't. I literally was depending on my Montgomery GI Bill to pay the bills. And that wasn't a lot of money. I was literally down to the bare minimum, and I was almost getting ready to give away my car because I could not afford to actually pay for my apartment and have a car to get me to and from school and other places, job interviews. But I stuck with it, and thankfully I got to the point where I volunteered to be in an organization that did events for single service members. We called it BOSS, Better Opportunities for Single Service Members. And that was a transition while I was actually in the Army, and I really found it to be fascinating. I really enjoyed planning events. We planned fashion shows, Coca-Cola Classic with, it was a basketball tournament, and a lot of other things like that. And so I decided to volunteer and do some OJT with an event planning company and got some experience doing that. And that led to, going to another company, working with them, being a government event planner, and now being my own event planner, working with a team of really amazing people and doing some really fascinating things. But the tip that I want to share with you guys is two things. One, you have to protect your mental health. You have to do what needs to be done in order to make sure that what is inside your head, what you're thinking about, what you're feeling, what you're going through is addressed, and not bottle that up, because it's going to get to the point where it's going to explode, and the only person that's going to be affected by it is you. And then, of course, the residual effects of your family and friends and things like that. The second thing is that it's okay to change your mind regarding your career. Sure, you may have spent 15 years or 20 years doing one thing and you just don't have the heart to do it anymore. It is totally okay to start something new. I just encourage you all to make a plan, stick to it, and get as much information about what your new journey is going to be, so that way you can make effective decisions to step into your greatness.